When predators hunt down their prey, they ensure that you either do not live to tell the tale, or if by God's grace you survive, you would pray that you never meet one of these guys ever again. Either way, you will remember them forever. Now, when it comes to hunting, these aliens make the best use of their body and weaponry to track and kill you. But the one part of their body that helps them the most in tracking is their scary head. It houses the mandibles, the dreadlocks, those fearsome eyes, and several other features that make the Yautja the greatest hunters of the galaxy. Of course, there have been certain variations in the design, but the basic concept remains the same. And in this video, we're gonna explore everything there is to explore about a predator's head. Let's begin, shall we? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Predator face. When I look at Dan Trachtenberg's approach for prey, I notice that he wanted a leaner, more proportionate head-to-body ratio. He told SFX magazine that the original Predator's head was huge to fit a person inside, a design choice rooted in 1980s practical effects. Prey's feral predator moves differently. According to Trachtenberg, it feels more primal, less like a pro wrestler in a suit. The new look features a narrower silhouette, a mask that feels completely fresh, and a sly blend of real-life prosthetics with CGI enhancements. The director emphasized that they use practical effects for most shots, adding digital touches only when the suit could not deliver certain movements. He wanted viewers to believe that Feral is a flesh and blood creature, not just an actor wearing a costume. Now, some fans appreciate the new direction, and the popular belief is that the feral predator from Prey was a separate subspecies from an arid region of Yautja Prime. But there's a counter-argument here. You see, Yautja Prime, the home of the predators, is nearly all desert, so the regional difference argument might not hold up. Furthermore, if we compare the above logic with what happened with humans on Earth, we do know that different environments produced varied human traits. Asians are on the shorter side of the height spectrum when compared to those from Africa or Scandinavian countries. People from colder regions have smaller eyes, so as to absorb less light reflected from the white ice. However, these subtle variations and extreme changes in eye placement or jaw structure never happened because of the varying environment. Having said that, we can never know for sure how the predator anatomy reacts to different regions of Yautja Prime. The feral predator's eyes appear more to the side, resembling a prey creature, which contradicts the forward-facing eyes expected of a top-tier hunter. Then there's the design of the mandibles. They seem to grow bigger with every new Predator film, moving away from Stan Winston's original concept of a smaller jaw component that opened to reveal an inner mouth. The original Predator face and its evolution. I've always found it fascinating how the Predator's physique and its whole body in general came to be, especially after discovering the earliest concept in the script by the Thomas brothers, then called the Hunter. That original version depicted a chameleon-like alien with green lizard-like features. It could shift its shape into an animal and felt more like a scientist than a hunter, driven by a need to study human physiology and dissect its prey. So, Dark Horse Comics planned to adapt this unproduced screenplay and even revealed a cover art piece, but the project vanished when the license migrated to Marvel Comics. The design had an aftertaste of the official lore, and would have tied that initial concept to the Alpha Predator, a godlike predator called Kyle, who was an albino who rebelled against the Amengi race. According to this story, the Amengi were insectoid beings who enslaved early Yautja, then called Hish for labor and blood sport. The insectoid overlords resembled the scrapped Hunter design, making the Alpha Predator's defiance a symbolic echo of the classic production notes. Kyle wore an Amengi's face as a mask, much like the first Predator suit Jean-Claude Van Damme tried on before Stan Winston's redesign changed the creature forever. The Predator's physical form evolved through many drafts and setbacks before arriving at the now classic silhouette. Early script versions dating back to 1985 imagined a humanoid alien with nearly translucent skin, visible veins carrying pale green blood, and pink eyes, hinting at an adaptation to a lightless habitat. This vision introduced a creature closer to a tall, fragile figure than the brutal hunter known today. The core elements of camouflage technology and luminous green blood remained consistent, but the earliest outlines lean more toward a human-like being with scientific tendencies. When production started on the film that became Predator, the studio hired Steve Johnson and Boss Film Studio to interpret those ideas. Johnson soon faced a challenge. The production designer's concept art presented a thin, insectoid lizard hybrid with backward bent legs and a very long neck. Johnson saw potential problems. A full creature suit with digitigrade legs and mechanical arm extensions had never been built for an outdoor shoot, let alone a jungle setting filled with mud, foliage, and steep slopes. ropes. He warned that the design would be unwieldy. Director John McTiernan insisted they proceed, so the team developed a single hero suit and a red mock-up for the cloaking sequences. The plan was to have Jean-Claude Van Damme, then a new face in Hollywood, wear the suit and showcase martial arts moves against Arnold Schwarzenegger's Commando Squad. Van Damme soon discovered that his bright red suit was only meant for effects work, not the final Predator look. He felt misled, thinking he would star as a formidable on-screen fighter, rather than a mostly invisible creature. Tension grew when Van Damme realized he could not deliver the swift kicks and acrobatics he had hoped to display. Van Damme, discouraged and uncomfortable, left the project. McTiernan and the producers shut down production so they could rethink the creature. Boss Films' design, though ambitious, had outstripped the available technology. Steve Johnson later reflected that the concept might have worked on a controlled soundstage, but not a live jungle with so many action demands. Robert Short and illustrator Alan Monroe stepped in for a redesign, trying to salvage the core elements. They proposed armor and a helmet to cover parts of the creature's body, while adding a new mouth structure that included large mandibles on each side. McTiernan liked the idea of multi-part jaws, but disliked how beast-like the new sketches looked. He wanted a creature that carried advanced weaponry, and hinted at a tribal yet intelligent heritage. He showed Short a line drawing of a real Maasai warrior for inspiration. The redesign gradually shifted toward a hulking, dreadlocked alien hunter with a masked face. Later, Arnold Schwarzenegger recommended Stan Winston, who had impressed him with work on the Terminator. Winston and his crew had only 6 weeks to design and build the new suit, because the production schedule was already stretched. They took the revised creature sketches from Short and Monroe as a starting point, focusing on a more humanoid shape that an actor could wear without constant support cables. Winston wanted the Predator to come across as an intelligent warrior, not simply a screeching beast. Stan Winston's team molded the new creature over body cast of Kevin Peter Hall, who stood over 7 feet tall. Winston and Steve Wong debated whether to keep the mandibles, which had become a distinctive trait during the redesign process. They decided to integrate them with a more traditional mouth, producing the now famous 4-part jaw structure that flares open when the Predator roars. The Predator's head took shape under the supervision of Stan Winston, who wanted forward-facing eyes and intricate facial animatronics. The team sculpted an expressive brow that gave the monster a daunting stare, along with a mechanism for each mandible to open and close independently. The original sketches included extra features like chest spikes and a forked tongue, but these elements did not make it into the final film due to time constraints. Filming eventually resumed, and production discovered that Hall's imposing stature and careful movements brought the new Predator suit to life in ways the Boss film version never could. Hall described himself as a puppeteer, working from inside, using subtle gestures and posture to convey intelligence, aggression, and curiosity. Yautja dreadlocks. Predator dreadlocks appear in every film, comic, and video game tied to the Yautja, yet many viewers assume they're only decorative. In reality, these predlocks serve as a vital sensory organ, rather than mere hair. They contain flesh, blood, and nerves, and bleed when cut or severed. This biological design grants the Yautja keen spatial awareness and lightning-quick reactions, even without their advanced technology. The expanded universe supports this idea, explaining that these organs enhance balance, detect subtle shifts in the environment, and help the aliens pinpoint threats. Stan Winston referred to the dreadlocks as quills. His early concept likened them to porcupine spines. Over time, however, fans came to see them as more akin to braided hair. They extend from the creature's head in thick rope-like strands, but sources confirm that these growths pulse with blood and nerves. Some Yautja develop small patches of coarse body hair on the face, yet the dreadlocks remain distinct, serving a distinct function altogether. Their presence explains how the hunter moves with such speed and agility, even when unmasked or deprived of gear. In the novel and comics, these sensory appendages factor into Yautja mating rituals. Males and females regard longer, healthier dreadlocks as a sign of fitness. During her time among the Predators, Machiko Noguchi cut off her own hair after fighting a xenomorph queen. She realized that action would lower her desirability to Yautja warriors, underlining the cultural importance of these appendages. Longer strands prove that a hunter has survived many battles without serious injury, increasing social standing and reproductive success. Past Predator designs have shown dreadlocks in black, red, brown, and even blue shades. This color variety indicates genetic differences among the species, or perhaps the effect of environmental influences. Each film and comic has offered small changes to the shape and thickness of the tendrils, adding a sense that individual Yautja differ as much as humans do. Sometimes dreadlocks appear more wiry, other times heavier and more segmented. Their functions stay consistent. No matter how they look, they house the Predator's essential senses. Rumors suggest that this may be a female Yautja, who could sport a bold take on dreadlocks. The films have not shown a female Predator in clear detail, so fans hope for fresh insights into the species' biology. Some speculate that a female's dreadlocks might differ in length or texture, marking her as distinct from male hunters. Yautja eyes. The predator's eyes are, of course, super important to the predator when it comes to hunting. Though the Yautja hide behind advanced biomasks, their true sight extends beyond the thermal vision we see in the films. Their eye color varies, with yellow as the most common, but some have green or red hues. The red-eyed super predators display greater ferocity, while the standard Yautja more often feature yellow pupils. These glowing irises catch attention and fuel speculation about whatever different colors represent clan distinctions or personal enhancements. In classic encounters, a brief eye flash heralds the switch to thermal sight. This flicker, accompanied by a distinct sound, feels menacing, but may also reveal a slight weakness. Still, the Yautja rely on their eyes' capacity to detect heat signatures and target prey that attempts to hide. The biomask adds layers of complexity, granting the predator modes like night vision, X-ray, or even ultraviolet scanning, each tailored to the environment. That mask shifts easily between sight options, reinforcing the Yautja's role as a deadly stalker. Numerous predators have lost an eye in brutal fights. Scarface from Concrete Jungle and Wolf from Aliens vs. Predator Requiem exemplify these wounded warriors. Yet their species' healing abilities often repair or mitigate such injuries. Ahab Predator survived a stabbing to his eye, later regaining partial use of it. Some choose a more radical path by integrating cybernetic components when injury threatens their effectiveness. The laser shot Predator replaced his eye and arm, driven by a thirst for advanced combat features. Others, like the Bionic Predator, embrace honorable enhancements only after genuine battle wounds. Cybernetic eyes can incorporate telescopic or targeting functions, but not every Yautja approves of such augmentation. Traditional hunters label extreme modifications as dishonorable, comparing them to the forbidden practices of hybridization. Without the biomask, a Yautja's unfiltered sight can appear blurred and tinted in red. That has led some observers to conclude that predators have poor natural vision. However, Predator 2 suggests that environmental factors also shape how the creature views its surroundings. The city hunter's color perception differs from the original jungle hunters, possibly because of personal upgrades or because predators adapt to distinct habitats. Such differences point to the broad genetic variety among Yautja. Some also engage in nanotech or genetic modifications that bestow upgraded eyes. These natural-seeming enhancements surpass standard vision by allowing better night clarity and sharper tracking skills. The assassin predator in The Predator highlights that concept. Its advanced eyes incorporate a translator, a communication interface with elders, and detailed terrain mapping. Practical effects and CGI enrich the on-screen portrayal. Kevin Peter Hall wore large contact lenses in Predator and Predator 2, with the region around his eyes darkened to achieve a seamless blend. Newer films sometimes replace practical animatronic faces with digital work, as seen in The Feral Predator. This allows more dynamic expressions, while preserving the eerie glow of the Yautja gaze. Lastly, the idea of a fully blind Yautja has rarely been explored, yet partial blindness is well documented. Artists imagine scenarios in which a blind Yautja compensates with heightened hearing or specialized technology. Yautja nose. Despite lacking an external nose, the Yautja possesses acute olfactory abilities that rival and sometimes surpass those of terrestrial creatures. Their smooth skin and mandibles leave no hint of a nasal cavity, yet they detect scents with startling accuracy. This skill helps them navigate dense jungles or alien habitats and track their prey over long distances. Yautja lore suggests they smell through specialized receptors in and around their mouth, possibly within the mandibles themselves. That arrangement might mirror certain insects or crustaceans, which also lack a traditional nose but rely on alternate organs to pick up chemical cues. The word for smell in the Yautja language is Hiduisa, reflecting its importance in predator society. Their ability to recognize the scents of prey, rival hunters, or potential mates shapes their social and hunting behaviors. They can sense musk, a pheromone-like substance that reveals the emotional state of other beings. That talent gives a tactical advantage, letting a predator sense fear or aggression. It may also aid in breeding rituals, since predators with certain musk signatures appear more desirable to prospective partners. The Yautja's uncanny sense of smell reveals that a missing external nose does not diminish their ability to parse the world around them. From the viewpoint of humans, a predator exudes a pungent, oily odor that intensifies under stress or excitement. When the creature secretes sweat or blood, bystanders often notice a more bitter edge to their scent, yet the blood itself has a sweet undertone. Some humans are said to have tasted predator blood, hoping for extended longevity and other rumored benefits. This curious mixture of bitter and sweet underscores the alien quality of the Yautja and their biology. The sense of smell also intertwines with their advanced technology. Many predators rely on biomasks for sophisticated vision modes and environmental analysis, but the mask could further enhance their olfactory abilities. Some theories suggest that the helmet's software might highlight scent trails or accentuate pheromones. The super predators use a tracker vision mode, possibly designed to integrate multiple sensory inputs, including smell, for swift pursuit of elusive targets. This synergy of biological perception and advanced tech amplifies the predator's deadliness in the field. In more extreme cases, some Yautja Yautja augment their bodies to refine their already formidable sense of smell. The upgrade predator represents an example of this trend. By incorporating genetic material from other species, it gains new powers that challenge the usual limits of Yautja physiology. Although details remain vague, these enhancements likely include improved scent detection or more complex data processing of olfactory signals. This helps an upgrade predator hunt without relying on standard gear, underscoring the primal importance of smell in Yautja culture. Predator dogs are another example of how smell factors into Yautja hunting rituals. These canines, carefully bred and trained on the Yautja homeworld, show heightened senses that pair neatly with those of their masters. With well-honed olfactory capacities, they become indispensable helpers on the hunt. Together, the Yautja and their loyal hounds follow scent trails across inhospitable terrain, proving how critical smell remains to every aspect of the predator's existence. Yautja tongue. The predator's forked tongue hides just behind their 4 lower teeth, which makes it difficult to spot. In Predator 2, there's a brief glimpse of his tongue when the city hunter applies painkiller from his medcomp. That moment confirmed the tongue's existence on screen and stirred fans' curiosity about how it functions in daily Yautja life. Filmmakers often focus on the mandibles or the imposing jaws, and tend to forget the tongue in the shadows. Some speculate that the different predator subspecies might feature variations on this hidden organ, though official sources rarely elaborate on such details. It's safe to say that the tongue may enhance communication, pairing with the mandibles for subtle gestures or clicks beyond the creature's typical guttural sounds. The forked tip evokes images of serpents or vipers, but the predator's tongue does more than just taste the air. It likely assists in chewing or tearing food, though the Yautja mouth structure includes few teeth suitable for grinding. I think that the predators swallow large chunks of prey, much like alligators, or rely on mandibles to grip and pull apart meat. Comparisons can be drawn to crustaceans that use multiple appendages when feeding. Since Yautja biology includes an unusual combination of mandibles, a strong throat, and a forked tongue, it seems plausible they can break down food without the extensive chewing that humans perform. Speculation persists that each Yautja clan might have unique feeding habits, adapted to local fauna on their homeworld. Beyond nutrition, the forked tongue may also support basic taste-based information gathering, helping the predator sense chemical cues in its environment. Yautja ear. The Yautja hide their ears beneath dreadlocks that frame their heads. These small oval-shaped structures lie below where the tresses emerge and help them detect sounds with heightened precision. Their biomasks further amplify this sense, allowing them to pick up distant noises or subtle vibrations while on the hunt. The fugitive predator sculpted by Studio ADI showcases these ears more clearly. Unlike human ears, they do not jut outward. It's unknown whether this auditory mechanism shares responsibilities with dreadlocks for balance. The true extent of Yautja ear function still remains partially unknown, adding another layer of mystery to these alien hunters. Yautja mandibles. The predator's mandibles clamp around the mouth when closed, but flare open to reveal teeth and pink tissue. Different predator types show varying jaw shapes, from the wider berserker in Predators to a mutated Yautja in the Fire and Stone comics that sprouted 12 mandibles after exposure to alien black goo. Mandibles can break or be severed, as seen when battle damage leaves predators like Wolf and the feral predator missing entire sections. Some hunters earn names tied to these injuries, such as Broken Tusk or Cracked Tusk, and it remains unclear whether their bone-like tusks grow back. In extended lore, certain xenomorph hybrids inherit predator mandibles to become predaliens, blending their double-jawed design with the Yautja's fearsome grin. That monstrous fusion shows how deeply these bony jaws factor into reproduction and genetic reflex. Mandibles help predators devour prey by gripping flesh for swallowing. They also assist with speech patterns, generate the classic clicking sound, and support intimidation tactics during hunts. Early on, the predator's animatronic mouth design underwent refinements, so the lower mandibles could articulate more naturally. Robert Short and Alan Monroe introduced side tusks in early sketches, and director John McTiernan pushed for a creature that appeared advanced yet primal. The final arrangement added mechanical servomotors beneath the mask, letting brow ridges and jaws move in sync with the performer's expressions. Kevin Peter Hall wore contact lenses and manipulated the broader jaw movements, while hidden motors brought subtle twitches and flares to life. Some fans note a shift in how the closed mouth effect appears on film. After the second movie, the creature's face sometimes gained extra slack around the jaw, making the closed position condition less common on screen. The original concept had tighter skin, allowing the mandibles to cross neatly and maintain moisture within the mouth. Super predators, distinguished by more prominent upper tusks, can splay them even wider. Action figure adaptations show that they can close them too, though the size suggests an awkward fit. The design team behind the berserker's gaping mouth likely intended to emphasize a vicious demeanor, creating a dramatic contrast to classic Yautja. In some stories, these jaw muscles prove strong enough to bite off limbs or heads when all else fails, as the fugitive predator demonstrated while escaping captivity. The creation process required precise craftsmanship. The suit's body armor was sculpted onto a foam latex skin, leaving the mass components for separate molding. The mandibles themselves were individually detailed to ensure they meshed properly with the rest of the mouth. Over 9 servos powered eyebrow motion, cheek squints, and the side tusks. The final assembly made the Yautja appear alive, with each click and snarl hinting at predatory intelligence. These mandibles also carried cultural significance, marked by scarring or modifications that signaled age and status. Marvelous verdict. Stan Winston's version for Predator or Dan Trachtenberg's approach for Prey. I understand the contrasting viewpoints. Some believe that the new design is a valuable evolution, and that it adds a sense of ferocity and makes the creature scarier. Others dislike the departure from the original's uncanny humanity. The old Predator face had a forward-facing stare and has certain intelligence in its eyes that felt unsettling. Trachtenberg's version, with spaced-out eyes, works for those who like the more feral vibe. Still, a few argue that the wide-set eyes undercut the logical reason for a Predator's hunting skills, given that predators generally need binocular vision to gauge distances accurately. Kevin Peter Hall's physicality contributed to that creature's fear factor, and the cinematography amplified the sense that it was always studying its prey. In Prey, the actor Dane DeLiegro took on the suit's challenges, delivering something that felt raw. Trachtenberg admitted that his favorite approach was to combine the convenience of a man in a suit with CGI overlays, allowing more fluid motions than prosthetics alone might achieve. Some fans remain unimpressed by the maskless reveal in Prey, calling it a bit cartoonish and referencing old-school Looney Tunes vibes. Others love seeing a predator that is physically distinct, with thinner dreadlocks and a different color palette. They believe it enriches the mythos, showing that Yautja come in many forms, shaped by climate, subspecies, and cultural differences. The fans mostly agree on one thing: the predator is an iconic creature, and the details of its face can mean the difference between an unforgettable design and a flawed portrayal. My own perspective lies somewhere in the middle. I love Winston's original creation, but I find it exciting that Prey offered a bold interpretation and letting us see a more brutal side. I do understand why the wide-set eyes can feel off, since the predator is supposed to be an efficient hunter, not a cornered herbivore. Yet, I do enjoy how it suggests a branching evolution in the Yautja species. The lore from the Hunter script, the alpha predator's backstory, and the modern reinterpretations in Prey all remind me that the predator's face can be endlessly reimagined to reveal new layers of its alien nature. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.